Hello everyone, and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. I'd like to welcome you to episode 2 of Cantina Chatter. Today we are having special guest Cory Baker on the channel as we discuss all things Rebor, from their dinosaur creations to their internet presence and all of the things that they have lined up for the future. So hey Cory, how are you doing today?
How you going, Victoria? I'm doing very well today. Thanks for getting me on to the Cantina.
Absolutely. It's great to have you on. And for anybody that is new to hearing you on Victoria's Cantina, which of course you've been on here before the Lost World Week, you came on as a guest reviewer and you did some comparisons of the Lost World, the Utahraptor.
Well, yeah, for anyone that doesn't know who I am just, I live in Australia and I run a YouTube channel which is kind of based on we kind of do a lot of dinosaur videos. We do some figure reviews of Papo and whatnot, and basically I do all sorts of things, to be honest.
Yeah, you do some really great stuff, and I'd imagine that most people that watch my channel are probably aware of you. They've probably seen your videos or seen you commenting on stuff on Twitter, because you do some pretty solid stuff too. I've really been enjoying your episodes where you go on your toy runs, going to those conventions looking for the Jurassic Park dinosaurs and just seeing what kind of hidden treasures you might find. Those are very fun.
Yeah, a lot of people like those ones where I go out and try and find some 90s treasures, good old Kenner stuff of the Jurassic. I go out purely looking for Jurassic Park stuff.
Yeah, you really can't beat Kenner when it comes to movie-based toys, in my opinion. I think that they really knew what they were doing. They did some incredible stuff that to this day holds up and even exceeds a lot of what we're still seeing in the stores.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I still can't believe how good some of the stuff they actually had back then. I still look at mine every now and then and get my old Kenner Jurassic Park toys out, and the detail and everything is absolutely superb.
Absolutely remarkable stuff. What we want to focus on today is Rebor. Now, both myself and you have done reviews on Rebor product. Rebor is a relatively new company. They've been around, maybe like 2 years now? Almost?
I think they first appeared about halfway, maybe like third quarter of 2014. That's when I first... I think Jurassic Collectibles reviewed the first one. He was kind of like the starter. He sort of started it off. That's where everyone kind of knew about it, I think.
Yeah, and I think their first release was the Utahraptor, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, how do you say it? Utahraptor?
I call it Utahraptor. I could be totally off.
I think that is actually how you say it. And it's a feathered tyrannosaurid dinosaur.
Yes, that was their very first release, and I think you're right. I think that's about when it was. It was like third quarter 2014 that they did that release. And as detailed and awesome as it was met with quite a bit of controversy because it wasn't fully feathered.
Oh, I didn't know that. It is feathered a little bit, but did they want it fully feathered?
Right, exactly. That was one of the criticisms about it, was that despite how detailed it was, in reality, I suppose, from what they have found with fossil Utahraptors, which did have like the feathers all over their body, apparently. I guess when they excavated the skeletons, they found like the imprints of the feathers all around the body. And I guess the Rebor dinosaur, for whatever reason, just didn't fully represent that. It did have some feathers on it, but they weren't fully covering its body as it should have been. And I think that's when Rebor came in actually and said that it was kind of like molting or doing like a summer sort of thing, and that they were going to go back later and do a winter version. I don't think that they ever talked about it beyond that one time, and we as of yet haven't seen a winter version. But yeah, that was one of the huge criticisms, was that it just wasn't completely accurate, even though it did have some feathers.
Well, at the end of the day, nobody really knows 100% what these dinosaurs look like, and I think they did a pretty good job still, because I own the Utahraptor statue, and it comes with a really nice base. It's very detailed, and it has articulate you can move the jaw on it, and I still think it was pretty good for a first effort. Like, that was the very first product that came out.
Yeah, it was, and I agree. It's a very detailed dino. That's actually one of the few Rebor products that I don't own. I don't have the Utahraptor. I was kind of waiting to see if they were going to come out with the winter version that's more fully feathered, but as of yet, there's no indication as to when that's going to happen. So, still holding off on that. But after they did the Utahraptor, they did something that a lot of people got super excited about, which was they introduced their T-Rex, the King T-Rex.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw that T Rex, I was like very like because you know how the promo picture comes out for it. And that was I think it was around December or something in 2014, so it was like, coming in for Christmas, I think. And oh man, it looked amazing on the picture they've released, and it is an amazing figure. But I do have a few problems with it actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not a perfect dinosaur, but it's still darn impressive, especially if you're a Jurassic Park fan. Then there's obviously that influence there, that they took from Jurassic Park, from the Rexy, the T Rex, and creating their own version interpretation of T Rex. They did a remarkable job, and that's one thing I do want to comment on is when you look at Rebor's products online or in photos and videos, they look nice, they look very detailed. And I don't know about you. I know you have some very nice dinos in your collection from Sideshow and so forth. But when I look at these dinosaurs on my shelf and then look at everything else that I have in my collection on display, like Star Wars figures, Papo dinosaurs even, like nothing really comes close to the Rebor dinos. Like the level of detail on them is just so lifelike and unlike anything else that I have on display.
Oh, absolutely. I reckon out of all of them, the most detailed one they've come out with so far is the King T Rex. I reckon when I remember when I first got the King T Rex from Rebor, I looked at the face and it just the face of the T Rex and it was just crazy. The detail on it was like really nice.
It's incredible, like the striations, the skin, like the bumps. You can see the musculature, the folds in the skin. I'm peeking over my shoulder at it right now. The rib cage, it's just remarkable. And to be honest, I did have to go through a few of them before I got a perfect sample. I think the initial photos that we saw, and as far as I know, the initial batches of the King T-Rex, from what I saw, like on the dinosaur toy forum, they had very dark colorations around the eyes and just like a very bright red color to them. When I got my very first one, it was about a year ago. I think it was June or July 2015. It just looked a little bit washed out. Didn't quite have all the color to it. Very very light, minimal color around the eyes. So I exchanged it, and I got another one, and that one had a bunch of scratches on it. And yeah, earlier this year, finally, I bought another one, and this one is just amazing. Definitely the best of the bunch. Still not quite what we saw in the initial photos, but it's pretty darn close. I mean, I haven't shown it on YouTube yet because I think the one that I reviewed was the one that I had that had the scratches on it and stuff. But
Yes.
yeah, I should do a follow-up video at some point because the one that I have now just looks remarkable.
Mine looked pretty good. I didn't have any really too much to say. Like the colours weren't that bad with mine when I first got mine. Like they were pretty much close to the picture. The only thing I found was it was very hard to get him standing on that little rock he came with.
Absolutely. That's something that I had, and I think pretty much everyone who's bought this piece has had an issue with, is that the rock that it comes with, it's nice for what it is. It's a little rock. It has a little bit of moss detail on it. It looks decent, but the dinosaur just doesn't balance on it all that well. It's a little heavy for that rock, and of course, it has a kind of an awkward center of gravity, so just given the nature of the design, it's a little hard to balance on it, which was very awesome when they announced that they were going to do the Fallen Queen, the Triceratops, to use as this play base, because even though I think it shouldn't have quite come from the factory with that sort of an issue, I am glad that they rectified it by creating something new that you could use, and the Queen T-Rex, the Queen Fallen Queen looks quite nice for what she is.
Yeah, I have the Fallen Queen as well, and it really does fix the standing issue, and it looks awesome as well. Like the T-Rex had just taken down a fresh kill Triceratops.
Yeah, and she looks a little bit on the petite side, I would say, but nonetheless, the detail on her is very nice. I really like the color. She's basically like a grayish green sort of color. And she almost looks like she's kind of peaceful, like like in a peaceful state, like she's sleeping, but obviously she's not
Yeah,
sleeping.
yeah, got a bit of blood, got a bit of blood around her, where the bite marks and stuff, and yeah, they like a bit of gall or Rebor as well.
Yeah, totally. And it works really well now. My T Rex, actually, before I got this latest one that I really liked, the one I had before did fall off, the Queen T Rex. I keep saying the Queen T Rex, the Fallen Queen. It fell off of her once, but then once I got this third one in, for whatever reason, it just seems to balance on her a lot better. I haven't had it fall over once, and it just looks quite incredible. So I'm really looking forward to whenever they get around to doing. I think it's King Trident, isn't it? The follow up version.
Yes, but they haven't. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I certainly don't know about it yet, but I don't actually know what King Trident is. I'm thinking it's an alive Triceratops.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the male Triceratops seeking
Yeah, yeah,
seeking
yeah.
revenge on the King T Rex.
Well, that would be pretty cool, actually. That would look really cool.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of information on King Trident, but if you look at underneath the base of the Fallen Queen, it does mention King Trident. So we know he's coming at some point. It's just not really clear when or what he's going to look like exactly. I would venture a guess that he's probably going to look pretty similar to the Fallen Queen, though hopefully a little bit more lively.
Yeah, no, he'll be. I think he's going to look angry, and he wants revenge.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because as awesome as all these carnivores have been, I'm really anxious to see some highly detailed and action-oriented looking herbivores. I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I actually noticed that when I was first getting into collecting a bit of Rebor, that they didn't have much herbivore dinosaurs it was mainly all carnivores, and that's okay. But you do need a little bit of a variety, which they are rectifying that now though.
Yeah, absolutely. And to an extent, that is understandable because I've always heard that carnivores tend to sell a little bit better than herbivores do. So, if you're a new company trying to get yourself out there and get your product seen by people, you're probably going to want to do something that's going to be a little bit less of a gamble. If you're doing something like a T-Rex or a Utahraptor, it's probably going to be a little bit more of a sure bet and, in effect, enable you to create more dinosaurs down the line, such as herbivores and all the different things they're experimenting at this point in time. So after the King T-Rex, I think after that, the one that they came out with, was it the Utahraptor, I want to say?
Yes, they came with the Utahraptor, and that was called the Wind Hunter.
Wind Hunter. That was actually the very first Rebor dino that I purchased.
Well, yeah, I think that was. I think that could. Yeah, I think it could have been my first too.
One thing that kind of troubled me about it is, I mean, it looked great, don't get me wrong, but the first batch or the first run of the Utahraptors that Rebor did had the leaning issue where over time they would just like severely lean over to where like the front of it was almost touching the ground.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Mine's kissing the ground right now.
I had that, and that's what happened to it within a few days. It was basically just like leaned over all the way, like as if it was maybe jumping into like a pool of water or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened with my Wind Hunter. It had that issue. That's when I actually exchanged it and then got the T-Rex. Just paid the difference and got that instead. But I found out later last year, early this year, that Rebor had gone back and they made some modifications to the Wind Hunter in order to get it to balance without leaning over. And I reordered it, and sure enough, they mostly fixed the issue. At least initially, it didn't have any issues with leaning. At this point in time, it is starting to lean just a little bit. It's not too noticeable, but I did buy some clear polycarbonate rods. I'm just gonna adjust one so that it's the right height and just keeps it propped up.
Well, that's what I think I might have to do too. Is just get like a tiny clear rod.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be the way to go. It should definitely help. At least on mine, which it's not leaned over too much. I think just having it propped up just a little bit more would probably help quite a bit.
I think Rebor's even shown a picture with they've actually had a picture of a rod that was keeping their one up from leaning over.
Well, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah. I think they even really. I actually thought they could have actually made it. They actually once. I don't know if that's true or not, but they actually like shipped them out with a little bit of a like a support system.
Right on. I'll have to look at that and see if I can find that. Sounds pretty much like what I was thinking. So if it's good enough for them, then I'd imagine it should be good enough for my Utahraptor.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the Utahraptor is definitely the weakest one they've actually like produced. Like it was the third one, so they were still pretty new to the making of these figures. But they definitely learned a lesson from that Utahraptor, I think.
Yeah, it's an impressive piece, enough so that I made it my first purchase, but it does have some issues other than the balancing issue, which, is obviously the most severe. It just looks a little bit funny from some angles, like on mine especially. The first one that I had, and to a lesser degree the second one, when you put the arms in, you can still see the pegs just a little bit where they're plugging into the body.
Yeah, actually, that's another thing I actually didn't really like about it. I didn't actually like the adjustable arms because my ones always used to pop out.
Yeah, my first one actually had that issue too. That's one of the reasons, apart from the leaning, that I sent it back was, I'd walk into my office and then I'd find that, one of the arms had fallen off.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I used to go into my room and then like, in my cabinet there's just just a wing on the floor, and you had to go and put it back. So I actually ended up gluing mine in. So now they're not coming out.
And I think that's something that actually tweaked a little bit because on the second one that I have, it's actually really difficult to get the arms in. Like I had to press them really hard to get them in. But the downside is that now I can't rotate them or pull them out because it kind of seems like those pegs are going to break.
Well, that's pretty interesting, yeah. Well, because I remember because I've got the first version still, and that they're very loose in there, very loose, and
Yeah.
they just fall out. Yeah, I think they haven't actually done another figure like the Utahraptor purely because they had the leaning issue, and then they had the issue of the arms popping out, and it kind of, to me, it's not the best one they've done. It's probably the worst one they've done.
Yeah, definitely not one of the best ones. And one thing I do like about it, though, is I think the coloration is pretty nice. It actually looks kind of scary. Like when you look at it, it looks pretty fierce. And then, that really dark coloration it has with the layering of yellowing and even some like little streaks of blue in it. It is pretty nice colors, but it is just a little bit scary looking. And yeah, like I was saying, the lips just being a little bit too baggy looking. There's a few things about it that could be tweaked. And you're totally right. They haven't done any dinosaurs since then that really look like this, with the wings spread out, removable arms, and, leaning issues as the Utahraptor has.
They did two in a row, which was kind of like hard to stand. So the King T-Rex and the Wind Hunter Utahraptor. And now I think they're going to keep their dinosaurs with 2 feet on the ground, I think.
Yeah, it seems like probably the best thing to do overall. I think everything that they've released since then has had both of its legs on the ground, which is probably the best thing to do overall, just for stability purposes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And what you were saying about looking really scary, the Utahraptor looking scary, I don't know why people think that, feathers... Well, obviously, it's been scientifically proven that a lot of these dinosaurs did have feathers, especially the raptors and stuff. And I always thought feathers actually make them look scarier than not having any.
Sure. Yeah, because it kind of makes it look like, a little bit more bird-like, yes, but I guess that's what makes it look scarier is that it kind of looks a little bit more like something you can identify with in real life. You can kind of think like, hey, this is like a big, giant, scary bird that, I've seen birds, and if I saw a bird that looked like this, I'd probably be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, birds can be pretty freaky sometimes.
Oh yeah, especially the big ones. Or vultures. Like if you see vultures, some of them look pretty darn scary.
Yeah, yeah, oh, absolutely. We've got have you heard of cassowaries?
Yes, I have.
Yes, cassowary, they're the most dangerous thing in Australia almost. And they've actually got a raptor claw, and they'll kill you if you go into their territory. They're just like a big raptor.
Yeah, I think I was watching a documentary on them once, cassowaries, and yeah, pretty scary. I remember the people in the documentary were very stringent on staying on one side of the fence, otherwise they could come at your abdomen and cut you up.
Just like Dr. Grant says, we'll cut you in the belly and spill your intestines.
Exactly. We don't want that to happen.
No.
So following the Utahraptor, they did what, in my opinion, is their absolute best dinosaur, and my personal favorite of the Rebor line, which is the 135 scale Ceratosaurus. I just think that this thing is incredible looking.
Yeah, I definitely picked up the Ceratosaurus as soon as I could because it comes with a beautiful base, and to me, I don't really see too many Ceratosauruses out there. Obviously, it's a famous dinosaur, but they absolutely treated Ceratosaurus with a lot of care, and it looks really good. The one they did from Rebor.
Absolutely. And yeah, like you're saying, that base is one thing to behold because when I first bought it, I really liked the base from what I'd seen in the photos. But then once I got it in hand and took it out of the box, gosh, that base is just so realistic and so pretty just to look at.
Yeah, they've got beautiful. They've got a really cool thing how they put actually water in it, and it looks really nice as well. They actually like it's like clear plastic, and it looks like water.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's got like muddy look to it, but then it has a little bit of grass. It's got a tree stump, and then yeah, that translucent plastic to give it that glossy water effect. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, and it has a good movable jaw too. When I first got mine, it was a little stiff, but it came pretty loose pretty quickly, and it just looks beautiful. It's just a beautiful piece.
Yeah, I think pretty much all of the Rebor items that I've had, at least as far as the carnivores go, have all had the stiff jaw syndrome. And from what I've heard and read, it's just that it's glued shut from the factory. And it does take a little bit of work to get them open, but I don't think I've had any problems getting them all open. You know, as impressive as I think the King T-Rex is, and even though it may be a little bit more lifelike, I still gotta say that I really like the look of the Ceratosaurus. And I mean, it's just incredible. Easily my favorite Rebor product so far.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say it's probably one of my favorites too because it's just I don't think they've done anything better than I think the nickname was Savage as well, and
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, definitely it's probably the strongest one they've come up with.
Absolutely. It's Rebor at their best, in my opinion. And even though it's so awesome, it's not without flaws, of course. Another balancing issue, the initial run of the Ceratosauruses didn't have the ability to stand off the base. I think you had to keep them on the base in order for it to stand, which a lot of people were upset about. But again, like with the Utahraptor, that is something they corrected after a little while. They started shipping them with these little plastic inserts in between its legs to keep them from warping. And
Yes.
yeah, and I lucked out. That's one of the ones I got. So it can stand off the base. Not perfectly. The feet don't sit flush on the surface, but it can stand off the base. And when you put it on the base, you know, it stays put. I've never had it fall or anything.
Oh, actually, mine actually has had a bit of problems. But all it takes is a bit of hot water. You get, just get some hot water and bend them a little bit into place, and then it's fine. But mine was a little bit warped, so it has had a few standing problems, but I've got it pretty good now.
Right on. Sometimes for me, like I haven't tried hot water in any of my Rebor dinos. I mean, they don't really seem to need it, but it works pretty well. It seems like on more simple plastics, like for example, bringing in the Hasbro Jurassic World. I was having some insane problems with the chomping T-Rex, getting that to stand. And, I did the hot water trick to that, stood after that for a while, and then it was just so top heavy, it started falling over again. But I have more difficulty doing the hot water stuff with, like different kinds of plastics that are a little bit more involved, like dinosaurs. I can kind of get them to stand after I adjust them that way, but even then, they still seem to be a little bit problematic at times, where, they'll stand for a little bit, but then the legs will kind of go back to being a little bit warped.
Rebor doesn't have very much adjustability when it comes to the hot water trick that many like dinosaur collectors would probably know of is when you heat up the water and just bend the legs back in place. But yeah, it seems to fix the problem for since probably about half a year now.
So after Rebor did the Ceratosaurus, they went a little while before releasing anything, but the next dino they did in the 135th scale was the Acrocanthosaurus.
Yeah, it absolutely did, and this one was actually really highly anticipated too, and they were teasing it for a long time. Like you said, it actually took a while for this one to come out.
Yeah, it did, and they teased it for a while too. Like they showed a photo, and then they went a while before showing another photo. And, once we started seeing color pictures, it was starting to become clear how detailed it was going to be and how cool the coloration was. And of all of their dinosaurs so far, I think that I like the coloration on the Acrocanthosaurus best. It's kind of like an autumn looking color. It's just very orangey. I just really like that. I think it's very attractive.
It's got a really nice orange kind of feel to it, and it's got a bit of stripy all along its spine as well.
I really like the paint along the spine. It's got the black, and then I'm just taking a look at it. The orangey color, and it's got like more of a cream color on the bottom. Just very fantastic coloring on it, and of course the sculpt work on it is, as expected, it's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely, and it's pretty exciting because I've known about Acrocanthosaurus for a long time, and it's another one like the Ceratosaurus. I find there is some figures out there of Acrocanthosaurus, but it's one of those more non-touched on dinosaurs that they don't always make figures of, and that's why I got pretty excited about it.
Absolutely, that is one of the draws of it, is that there aren't a whole lot of Acrocanthosaurus figures out there. And this one, which is nicknamed Hercules, of course, is probably one of the most stunning ones that has been done. But, like we've been saying all along with several of these dinosaurs, it looks stunning, but there are some issues with balancing. And although it does come with a base, it just doesn't really stand on that base very well because the feet, I don't know about yours, but the feet on mine aren't really flush. If you set it on a flat surface, they're kind of angled inwards, so it doesn't really stand flat on its base.
Yeah, same. That's the same as mine. So you have to play around a bit to actually get it standing.
Right. You got to find that sweet spot on the base, which is kind of difficult. And that's one thing that really upset me early on was that I put it on display on my shelf, and then I heard a loud bang. It had fallen onto it hit head first onto the wall, and it got some scuffs on its face, on one side of its face, from the paint being chipped. So I was pretty upset about that.
That also happened to mine as well, and that's probably because something I forgot we haven't actually said yet is it actually came with a kind of extra something. You can actually put a dinosaur carcass in his mouth. Of I think it's the Tenatosaurus. It's like a Hedrosaurus dinosaur. He actually comes with like a head that he must have ripped off like a carcass.
Yeah, it's just interesting the way that they package it with that head in there. When you look at it, I mean, it looks like something out of The Walking Dead. Like the detail on that torn off head is just really incredible. Like you see all the guts hanging out and the gloss of the blood and the insides of of that animal. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, if you look, definitely. If you go and pick it up and look at it with your hands, it just looks so gory. It looks almost a bit like, just looks pretty intense.
Absolutely. And I like the jaw on this one. I think that you don't really notice it a whole lot. Like with the Ceratosaurus, it's not very apparent. But even getting that little piece of animal in how do you say it?
I think he's. I don't know, all these dinosaur names are pretty tricky sometimes. Tenonto, Tenatosaurus. It's almost like Tomatosaurus,
Tenatosaurus.
Yeah, Tenatosaurus.
And even though it looks, very nice, of course, there's a little bit of an issue sometimes where the Tenatosaurus, it just kind of falls out of its mouth and you got to put it back in. But for the most part, I've gotten it to stay in there. It hasn't fallen out very much.
Mine. Yeah, that's how I display mine too, with it in its mouth, and I think that just adds to it. Actually, I've always looked at it with the thing, with the Tenatosaurus head in its mouth, and it looks just so good.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And of course, this is part of a 3-piece diorama because later they did the rest of the Tenontosaurus body, which came with a longer piece of display base that you could connect to the Acrocanthosaurus's base, and it basically was just a headless dinosaur, which is kind of different. It's definitely a different sort of business decision than you might see with most companies. Just releasing a headless dinosaur, but it's part of the diorama. If you're gonna if you want to complete the diorama, you got to get that to go with it.
Yes, I actually, yeah, you got the whole body just laying on the floor, which you can connect it to, and I actually don't have that. I didn't actually see much appeal in it. It's just a dead dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And then they're also doing the is it the three Deinonychus dinos that are going to come in a third part of this diorama?
Yes, they've actually got a third, yeah, the third bit of this diorama with where, like I think is it three Deinonychus, is it?
Yeah, Deinonychus.
Yeah, three of them. Hey, yeah, so they're gonna have three Deinonychus just think waiting for the Acrocanthosaurus to have its feed, and it's gonna look pretty. It will look pretty cool if you join them all together. But it's another. This is another thing that I'm having trouble with Rebor is there. That's limited. I've got limited space to display it all, and I think at the end that's gonna be that's gonna be quite big.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm anxious to see what that looks like. Like you, I held off on getting the Tenontosaurus because, I really like the Acrocanthosaurus. I like how it looks just having the head of the animal in its mouth. Wasn't so sure I needed to get, the rest of the body. But, once I see what the Deinonychus trio looks like, I'll have a better idea as to whether or not I'm going to complete that. Who knows? I may just get the three Deinonychus dinos by themselves and just use them separately or something. But I really want to see what this is going to look like completed before I make any decision one way or the other.
Oh, absolutely. 'Cause the thing is, one of the main reasons I didn't get the body is because it's still a bit of money, and what you get is not like an alive dino. You get like a dead one, and if I would probably go and get the Deinonychus ones because they're a little bit more interesting for the money you pay.
It'll be interesting to see what those look like, whether or not they're feathered. I mean, it looks like they're probably going to be feathered. But, they've already done Utahraptor. We know they've got Velociraptor coming. So it'll be interesting to see what the Deinonychus trio looks like.
I think they've only released a silhouette of what it looks like.
Right. We haven't seen any colored photos or, any really great detail as to what they're going to appear like. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what those look like. But in the meantime, of course, they've come out with some other stuff. They've also been doing their limited edition dinosaurs. Is it called the Rebor Club Collection or Club Selection?
Yeah, I think it's Club Collection, I think.
Or Club Selection. I don't know exactly. I need to look at Big Bad Toy Store and see what.
I'll quickly say it's Rebor Club Selection.
Rework. Okay, yeah, I thought it was something
limited
like
edition to 1,000.
Okay, so the first one they did was Jolly, the hatchling Triceratops. It was a limited edition of 1,000, like you said, and that was kind of a different foray into dinosaur collectibles because you don't see a whole lot of hatchlings out there.
Yeah, they've gone. What they've done is more into like the very decorative statue kind of thing. They've got like a nice wooden base on it, and just a little Triceratops hatchling cracking out of its egg, and it looks really nice.
It does look quite nice from what I've seen in the photos. I haven't actually picked that one up. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to.
I don't have it either.
It also comes with a little Santa hat, so if you wanted to put that on during Christmas time, you could do that.
But what I've seen of it, it does look very nice with the crack. It's got like a bit of eggshell falling down next to it, and I don't know how like scientifically accurate the Triceratops is, but it looks quite nice. It looks like a nice figure.
Right, it does.
Or a statue, more like.
And after they did Jolly the hatchling, I think it was last summer, they came out with, or for you it would have been winter, they came out with the Velociraptor triplets, which was Lock, Stock, and Barrel.
Yeah, I don't actually have Lock, Stock, and Barrel either, but they looked pretty good. Do you have Lock, Stock, and Barrel?
I do have Lock, Stock, and Barrel.
I thought you did, yeah. What do you reckon of them?
I really like them. I mean, I know that they're not scientifically accurate. If they were, they would look a little bit more bird-like. They'd have, like a coat of down or feathers on them. They totally don't. They look very much like reptiles, hatching out of their eggs. Which, it might be inaccurate, but, they're 1:1 scale, which, means that they're probably life-size. if these were, real. And that really draws me into them because not only are they a very nice lifelike size, but the eggs themselves, they did improve on the detail from Jolly to Lock, Stock, and Barrel. Like the eggs look a lot more realistic. They have more detail on them, more texture to them. And velociraptors are cool. I think everybody loves velociraptors. And, just having like baby versions of them like this, each one has its own personality. You have one that's just kind of peering around. It has one eye like looking back, one looking forward. And then you have another one with its mouth open. And then you got the other one that's just asleep. It's just a fun piece. I mean, scientific accuracy aside, I love it. It's just fun. And, they do look a little bit like Jurassic Park style dinosaurs, which, also is kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing I forgot to say about the Triceratops one and this one is you can actually take the eggs separately, can't you? You can actually pick them up separately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You could do that. And that's actually pretty fun if you wanted to. I wouldn't do it personally, but if you wanted to maybe like travel and take one of them with you, you could do that. I mean, I wouldn't do it with one of these because they're too expensive. But you could take them off the base and just hold them, take some photos or whatever you want to do. It's just a really fun piece.
And next was Tyrannosaurus, wasn't it? Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy, the hatchling T-Rex, also limited edition of 1,000.
Yeah. Now, I actually have this one. This is the only club selection I've got.
Nice. That's one that's on my wish list. I think I do want to pick up Rudy at some point.
Yeah. I definitely had to get this one because, it's Tyrannosaurus. It's like the best. That's my favorite dinosaur, so I definitely picked this one up. And it's really nice. Like, it's just... it comes with antlers as well. Because this is another Christmas release one.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's kind of like me with the raptors. Like, I know T-Rex is your favorite dinosaur. Mine's actually Stegosaurus, but in terms of like the carnivores, I really like raptors like Deinonychus, Velociraptor, Utahraptor, etc. So yeah, that kind of mirrors, your taste in getting the T-Rex, which again, I do want to pick that up at some point. And it just looks really cute. I mean, it doesn't look 100% probably what a baby T-Rex might look like. Scientific accuracy. That's arguable. It does maybe have a little bit too prominent of an eyebrow ridge, but it's still a cute dinosaur. And like you said, it has the antlers. So if you're using this as a Christmas display, it's definitely a good complement to go with Jolly, which, has the Christmas Santa hat.
Yeah, definitely. And this one also does, it's got like a non-attached egg to the base. And what I found with mine is you wouldn't want to put this in a place where you have like a shelf that gets knocked around because it's not perfectly stable. Like it can probably come loose. So if I was going to get one of these clubs, I don't know how the lock, stock, and barrel are, but you wouldn't want to knock this one too much because it could come out and crash.
Certainly, and that's actually how lock, stock, and barrel are as well. Like they seem to be staying put just fine, but yeah, probably if I grabbed my shelf and started moving it around, I'd be a little worried that they might fall off. So when I first got them, I actually set them back a little bit farther back, like toward the wall, because, just in case they fell off. But luckily that hasn't been an issue for them. I think I picked mine up back in December, and ever since then I haven't had any problems with them falling. So
yeah, that's good then. That's what you want, because you don't want, they're really nice pieces. You don't want them falling over.
And from what I've seen in videos, obviously I don't have Rudy, but from what I've seen, it actually looks like they actually continue to improve upon the eggshell detail, like from the Velociraptor triplets. Like it just looks a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, they definitely did. And they've got nice gloss on the eye. The eye looks quite nice as well. It's got like very glossy black eye. Mm-hmm. And it looks really nice. And the eggshell's got a little gloss in the inside bits of the eggshell. And it's just nice. It's just a really nice little statue.
Oh, very nice. And it's also colored the same way as Rexy in Jurassic Park, which is a pretty cool little touch.
Yeah, you definitely love that as well. Everything to do with that kind of calls back to Jurassic Park is always a big. A lot of Jurassic Park fans like that.
And companies like this and, Papo really know how to capitalize on that and get us to spend more money just because we make that Jurassic Park association.
Yeah, and that's why I reckon a lot of people, And Rebor's even started kind of doing that, which I'm really happy about actually.
Yeah, totally. Some people aren't totally on board with that. From what I've seen, like on the dinosaur toy farm, for example, there's quite a few people that are put off by, dinosaurs kind of looking more Jurassic Park inspired. There's a lot of people that want realism and realistic, and Rebor, sometimes they do that, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they cater more to people that are looking for more movie based, dinosaurs. And, as long as I think they keep a good balance between the two, I think most people, at least me, would probably be pretty happy.
Yeah, there's definitely two audiences, isn't there? There are people that want the feathers. It's basically feathers and scales. Basically, it's just, and the scales are kind of like the Jurassic Park kind of looking ones. But I'm a fan of both really. I love the scientific aspect of dinosaurs, and I love the movies of the Jurassic Park movies. So I love both. I don't care what they come up with really. Like even if it's not 100% accurate, but it looks like Jurassic Park ones, I'll be happy because I love the movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're both, I think, children in the 90s. And, I grew up with like the retro looking dinosaurs. I think when I was a kid, I don't think there was a single T Rex that was standing in a horizontal position. I think every T Rex toy I had back, from late 80s, early 90s was the more vertical position, like T Rex, like dinosaurs like that. I mean, that's just what I grew up with. The very reptilian looking dinosaurs that just didn't quite look the way that we perceive them now. In terms of from a scientific perspective. But that's okay. I mean, that's just what people thought they looked like at the time, and it was a pretty popular portrayal of dinosaurs, and that's why all the toys were like that. So, I mean, I do like that as much as I do appreciate scientific accuracy, and some dinosaurs I will buy specifically because they are accurate. I also don't mind occasionally picking up a dinosaur that's a little bit more of a throwback to the dinosaurs that I grew up with, or the dinosaurs as they appear in Jurassic Park and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Ever since Jurassic Park came out, the look of dinosaurs have changed, and they continue to change as more information about them comes to light.
And I think that's one of the things that when the Jurassic Park toys hit the shelves, I was 8 when the movie came out. I saw it in the theater. And then shortly thereafter, I discovered the toys on the toy shelf in the stores. And that was one thing that really set them apart, was that the aesthetics were just very different from any dinosaurs I had already had, in my collection growing up. They were just very, just impressive. I mean, looking at them, they do look very different. Also, they're pretty realistic. You got the rubber skin. You got the details, and some of them are very lifelike in terms of representing their movie counterparts. And that definitely was a sort of a turning point, I think, in terms of dinosaur toys, that kind of pushed them to evolving into what we've started seeing after that. And then, of course, with companies like Papo and Sideshow and Rebor now.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So Rebor has done these hatchlings. I anticipate that in the future they probably will do more of them. Just a hunch. I wouldn't be surprised if they did more hatchlings. Maybe when the holidays roll around once again, we'll get another holiday version that has maybe like a red nose you can put on it or something.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely keep going them, I reckon. I don't know how well they sell though, because obviously there only 1,000 have been made. And you can still pick up Rudy. Like, Rudy's still around. And so is even the first one. Jolly's still around as well. And there's only 1,000 of him made. So I don't really know how well they sell. But I think they would still keep doing them.
Yeah, totally. I actually have a Big Bad Toy Stores. I have one of their site open right now here in my browser. And yeah, they have all 3 of those in stock. So that's a good question for being an LE of 1,000 and them still having them in stock, especially Jolly, which is the oldest one. I do wonder how well they sell. I mean, hopefully well enough that they continue them, because I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more. But hey, you never know.
Yeah, definitely. I like it. I like looking at them at least.
Yeah.
At just the pictures that come out. But I don't know. They really, they got to be really special for me to want them, to get the money and to buy them.
Exactly. And I think there's also something to be said for dinosaurs that are 1-to-1 scale. Like you get a dinosaur collectible and it's the exact size as it would be in real life. And that's something we can kind of experience with these hatchlings. And obviously, we can't really do that with other adult dinosaurs anywhere. They'd be as big as our houses.
That would be pretty awesome though. You had to buy a whole shed at the back for a full size one-to-one scale Tyrannosaurus. I think I'd have to buy a new house.
Yeah, or a barn at least. So another thing that Rebor did throughout that time was they came out with these little egg nests.
Oh yes, I actually have both of them. I don't know why, but I actually decided because they weren't there. They're not very much money, so they're very affordable. And they just look nice, and I bought both of them, but now I've got them. I don't really know what to do with them. They're just kind of sitting there, and they're pretty cool. And they've got all the eggs kind of like you can pick all the eggs up, and they're just nests pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, I always intended to get those. I still haven't picked them up. I might at some point in the future because they look cool. But yeah, like you say, I can imagine, I might buy them and then I won't be able to put them anywhere because, as much sense as it might make to put them near the King T-Rex or the Acrocanthosaurus or whatever, I don't know. I just don't know how seamless it would be just sitting it right there next to one of those dinosaurs.
Yeah. So there's the sauropod one and the theropod one, and I'll tell you one really cool thing about the theropod nest, and this is what I've done with mine, is I've actually put the Oviraptor, and Oviraptor's already actually holding an egg exactly like the theropod nest, and I've actually put the Oviraptor with my theropod nest, and it looks like he's stealing all the eggs.
That's pretty smart.
So that's what I liked about that goes pretty well, the Papo Oviraptor, so that's a suggestion for everyone. And so the sauropod nest, kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really go with anything.
Yeah, well, what could you use that for? Maybe if you were doing I was gonna say maybe a Jurassic Park diorama, but even then, there's not really anywhere you could put them.
Yeah, they look. They've always reminded me of Maltesers, the chocolate, because they just kind of feel like they look those little circles. They're like little circles, and I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really put them anywhere. I suppose the only thing I can put them with is the big Papobrachiosaurus, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's actually that's something you could probably do.
But I feel that they probably come out with something when they eventually got heaps of products out, you'd be able to buy all sorts of all these things and they'll actually add to the dioramas, because that's something they're doing is building on their dioramas.
Exactly. Yeah, there might be a better use for them at some point in the future. You just never know. I mean, the way that Rebor's handling this line, they're kind of doing random things not just the egg nest, but some of the babies, like the Stegosaurus is already out and they don't have the adult yet, but you will be able to use it with the adult at some point, I'd imagine. So maybe at some point those egg nests will come in handy.
Yeah, that's actually kind of strange, isn't it? You'd think that they'd bring out the adult of the dinosaur first.
You would think that. I mean, I haven't bought it. I'm kind of leaning toward it because, like I said, Stegosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, but I haven't gotten it yet. I kind of want to see what the adult's going to be like, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a very strange marketing strategy, though, to be sure.
Yeah, and that's what kind of they're doing lately, and they're not I wouldn't say they're not full releases, but they're kind of I don't know, because their full releases are their 1/35 scale ones.
Right.
Yeah, and they haven't actually brought out one of them for a long time.
Yeah.
Since the Acrocanthosaurus.
Exactly. Hercules was the last one, and that was, I think, in September or October last year.
Yeah. One thing they did bring out kind of recently is the Dimorphodons, which we haven't touched on yet.
The Dimorphodons, yeah, that's actually a new scale that they started with those 1/6 scale, and I was a little bit concerned about that initially because I'm OCD. I like to have everything in the same scale, and I wasn't sure how it was going to be. Having these 6 scale Dimorphodons positioned next to a 1/35 scale Acrocanthosaurus or Utahraptor or whatever. But if you don't think about it too much, it's not too bad of a fit. I mean, they seem to fit in okay. I mean, I can kind of look past it because of how nice those are.
Yeah, definitely. But they're like a set. They're like 2 of them, and they came at the same time. And I was looking at getting Punch, because they're Punch and Judy, I think they're called. And I just didn't end up getting them. I don't really think I will, because I don't know. Firstly, because I've got no room, and it just doesn't really go with the others. There's like you said, I didn't really have the need. I didn't really have the I don't know, the the want to get them.
Yeah, I was on the fence initially, not just because of the scale, but I was kind of like, well, I mean, I like you, I'm limited on room, of course. I think most of us are. And, I don't just collect Rebor dinosaurs, obviously. I collect all sorts of things. I wish I didn't, but the reality is that I do collect all sorts of stuff. And eventually it was my husband that actually liked them quite a bit, and he said I should get them, so I did. And I actually like them quite a bit. I think that they're very nice. Yeah, the scale's a little bit different from the other dinosaurs, but they're nice enough. The only issues that I have with them is one, I don't like how glossy they are. I think they're a little bit too shiny. And it kind of just gives them a little bit of a cheapened sort of aesthetic, in my opinion. And then two, I hadn't noticed this initially, but somebody that was one of my YouTube viewers had commented on the video and noticed that on Judy, like on her right foot, her claws were not painted.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. It's a bit of a... It's not... You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it. I mean, I've looked at other videos and in photos and stuff, and I guess it's just mine. I got lucky, and mine doesn't have paint on the claws, but not a big deal. I mean, you don't really see that. I'm very... I notice everything. I didn't notice that, so...
That's right.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
But now you probably do notice it now that you've been pointing it out.
Yeah, now I kind of notice it. Though she is on my shelf, hovering above Punch. And, yeah. Another thing about that set is that it comes with a metal rod. I don't see why they didn't do a clear rod, something that you're not going to notice as much. And also, I think on some samples, it seems like that rod fits in the base a little bit better. On mine, it's a little bit wobbly. It doesn't stay put. It kind of spins around a little bit too much.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the one, that's the Judy one. Oh, that's the one I didn't really want at all. But now I'm actually looking at a picture of Punch, and I'm thinking, I'm actually turning right now. I did say before I didn't want any of them, but now I'm thinking I might actually have to buy Punch. But I like Punch how it's sitting on a nice little log. And it's got the wing, there's wings up side by side. I'm actually changed my mind. I've changed my mind about Punch, but I'm not going to get Judy, but I like Punch.
Yeah, Punch is great. I definitely prefer Punch of the two. And the log, I mean, the log is very detailed. It looks like something I would have gone out in my backyard and brought in and used as a display base. It's just very detailed, very realistic. And the little lizard, I'm not sure which one the lizard comes with at this point. I don't know if it comes with Punch or Judy, but it's a very cool little extra.
It comes with Judy, I think.
Oh, Judy, okay. Yeah, because with Big Bad Toy Store, they were offering them either individually or you could order them as a set where they came together. And that's what I did. I just got them as a set.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the 1/6 scale thing, it's different. They've only, as far as I know, they've done two items in six scale, not just the Dimorphodons, but also the upcoming Compsognathus that should be available any day now. I know I've had them on pre-order for, I guess, about a month now. Those should be hitting very soon.
Yeah, you can get them in the UK store, Everything Dinosaur, but I would say that they're coming out any day now, because I think Jurassic Collectibles just came out with a video
right
on one, and oh my god, this is the one I'm excited for so much. I've been excited for it forever because I don't own anything like this, because I've always loved the Compsognathus from the Lost World Jurassic Park, and this is what they've done. This is purely for fan service, I think, this one.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. When I first saw the silhouette before they showed any kind of detailed photos or anything, I mean, it looked very much like the compies from the Lost World. And once they started releasing detailed photos and then colored photos, it was clear that that's definitely what they were going for. They wanted to do something that was exactly from the Lost World, because I mean, they are. But I also heard that Chronicle Collectibles was doing a 1-to-1 scale Compsognathus from the Lost World too.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's the thing with you don't get me wrong. I love all that Chronicle collectible stuff, but it's just so good. But I can't afford it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, for what I could pay to get one of those items, gosh, I could get so many other things from all the other lines that I collect. It just wouldn't make a whole lot of financial sense at this point to do something like that.
This is a terrible thing we have to face being collectors. We just can't get it. Just can't get everything.
You can't get everything, no. I mean, unless it's given to you free or, I mean, it's just nearly impossible. I mean, there's so many options. And I think it's a good time to be a dinosaur collector right now. Of all these companies that we have putting out solid product like Rebor and Papo and Collect Day, Safari, and so forth. There's just a lot of options, and the products are obviously getting better and better. So this is probably the time, like if you wanted to get into dinosaur collecting, which, I'm sure me and you have been buying them since we were like little kids.
Oh, yeah.
But, but yeah, if you wanted to get into it for like the first time, you definitely have a lot of solid options right now.
It's a good time to be into dinosaurs because Jurassic World has brought back dinosaurs, basically, I reckon.
Absolutely. And even like the prices on Kenner Jurassic Park toys, like on the secondary market, like eBay, prices have gone up since the movie came out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They've kind of dropped a little bit, in the time since the movie had come out, but they're still kind of high. I mean, I just picked up, as you know, the Kenner Jurassic Park Command Compound playset, and it was in the box, brand new. I had to pay a pretty penny to get it, but it was something I had wanted for 23 years, so I got a decent deal, a little bit under market value. So. But yeah, I mean, imagine like for the price you're going to pay on one super high end piece, you could get some very nice, vintage Kenner products that are, very sought after. So I guess it just, depends on, what your interests are and, where you want to focus your money on, in terms of what you're going to collect.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And sometimes, like you were saying, you've always wanted something. It's like you've promised yourself one day you'll get that. So you just gotta do it for yourself sometimes. Just spend that extra bit of money to get something you want.
Totally, and it's probably one of the most expensive single items I've purchased.
I believe it. So I was looking at them not that long ago, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna have enough money for that one.
Like I said, I did get it a little bit under market value, but still was expensive. And but yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, like I said, I was 8 years old when Jurassic Park came out. My brother had the Command Compound. He got it on Christmas morning, and we actually both had our fair share of JP dinosaurs, which I still have in my collection. But I never had my own Command Compound, so that was always on the wish list. It was just a matter of when. It took 23 years to get it, but I got it, and I have it in my collection. I'm in the process of getting it put together and everything, so definitely worth it. I mean, yeah, sometimes, like you said, you got to pay a little bit more for something you've had on the back burner for a while, but once you get it, I mean, it's totally worth it.
Yep. And then you just go, okay, what's next?
Exactly. Like it's like you buy something and it does fill a hole in your collection. You're very happy to have it, but then it's like, yeah, there's always another hole to fill in the collection.
It's like a never-ending struggle, to be honest.
And now I'm already looking like at the mobile command center and things that are just like outrageously expensive. Like price.
That thing is expensive.
Oh man, it's like, I think for that I was looking at eBay the other day, and they were anywhere from like for a boxed one, I think it was like 500. Actually, I think there was one for 700 is where it started at, and then there was one that was like 1,000. So it's just insane. Like
that's US dollars.
That's US dollars, yeah.
Oh god, that would be like 1,500 for me.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm struggling to get these Rebor ones because my store takes forever to get the new Rebors and the new Papos, and I'm just gonna have to get. Just takes forever, and by the time I get them and review on my channel, everyone's seen them and stuff. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to get it. I might have to spend a bit of more money to get the Compsognathus over here quicker.
Yeah, I actually have those on pre-order, but I got the email last week from Big Bad Toy Store saying they expected them within the next 10 days. So I anticipate hopefully by the end of this week, maybe even early next week, they'll have them available. But yeah, that is definitely something to look forward to. And of course, there's two versions of the Compsognathus. There's the Sentry, which is just the single that comes with the prehistoric dragonfly. And then there's the Bad Company, which is a 4-pack, like if you're army building these guys. And in the U.S., the single is $16.99, and then for the 4-pack, it's $24.99, which is an excellent deal, considering the price difference.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth between them two, but I actually think I'm swaying toward the Bad Company one with the 4 Compsognathus is because I want to try out a bit of hot water on them and try and see if I can like pose them differently. Because I don't know, 4 of the same thing doesn't really appeal to me as much, but I don't know if I can change them a little bit maybe.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is with these is they're pretty small. I think that I was looking at the measurements the other day, and I know we were talking about like the metric system and inches and stuff earlier, but these guys I think are only 3 inches tall, which I'm not sure what that translates exactly to centimeters. Actually, I do. I have a ruler right here in my desk. Let's see. So 3 inches is roughly about 8 centimeters.
8 cent. Oh, they're tiny.
Yeah, they're tiny. So that's the height. So yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really like having a whole lot of duplicates either, but considering that these are so small, I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal.
And plus, in the movies, they're all even in like in the movies they're actually together. They're in the big little pack in the movies.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can maybe do like a fan film and recreate the whole Dieter Stark thing where they're, jumping on you and eating your skin and
Yeah. Yeah. But these Compsognathuses are definitely my favourite thing. I reckon the most thing I'm excited for. All the dinosaurs are great, but this is combined 2 of my favourite things, like highly detailed dinosaurs with my favourite movies. So, and like I'm all for scientifically accurate as well. Like I love that stuff as well. But a lot of people, like JP fans, will benefit from this most.
Right, exactly. And that's something we were touching on earlier was that, there's always that balance. They make they make dinosaurs for people who specifically are interested in scientific accuracy. And then they also make the other ones, they want to cater to people that are interested in more pop culture type dinosaurs. And yeah, these Compsognathus dinos are definitely, more toward, people that appreciate the Jurassic Park universe, because they're definitely straight from the movie, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
In every single way. So yeah, it's a really cool thing that they offered them. And again, some people that I saw online weren't too happy about it because they wanted like feathered, more accurate versions, but I'm okay with it. I mean, like, if this wasn't an option for me and I could only get, the hypothetical 1-to-1 scale Chronicle collectibles version, I mean, this is just a lot more realistic for someone like me. So it's really nice to have that option.
Oh, definitely. And fans that like this would also probably like the new. It's called Stan, and it's a little baby Velociraptor, 1/18th scale.
Yeah.
Coming out.
Yeah, Stan is coming out, and Rebor said that Winston, which is the adult Velociraptor, is also 1/18th scale. Which here we are getting into yet another scale. With Rebor, and these are supposedly going to be in scale, they said, with 3 3/4 inch scale figures. So I imagine that the adult is probably going to be about the size, I'm just guessing, about the size of the Kenner Velociraptor that we did in our video.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool then. And you can definitely tell this is going to be one based on Jurassic Park, just from the look of the baby Velociraptor, and because they're actually called Stan Winston.
Yeah, totally.
Both of them together. How awesome is that?
It's really cool. And as far as the baby goes, Stan, I'm kind of up in the air with it. I mean, it doesn't look bad by any means. It actually kind of looks like Lock, Stock, and Barrel, the head. But the coloration it's different. I'm not like totally enthralled with it quite yet. I mean, maybe I just need to see it in person. But just the way that it's standing, it just kind of looks like maybe it got just finished running a marathon or something, and it's like, I'm so done. Something like that. There's just not a whole lot going on with it. It's just kind of standing there.
Yes, but one thing is it's pretty much the cheapest thing from Rebor.
Absolutely.
So if you're tossing up between it, the price is it's the cheapest one. But they're also doing the Utahraptor baby too.
Yeah, they are. Breeze is the baby Utahraptor. Actually, the same price, at least on Big Bad Toy Store.
Oh, and, same price here too. Yeah.
Yeah, but Breeze is 1/35th scale, so Breeze should be a little bit bigger.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, but I reckon I'm definitely going to get that scale baby Velociraptor, purely because the throwback to Jurassic Park again.
Yeah, I'll definitely get Winston. Just not too sure about Stan quite yet. But yeah, Winston definitely looks like it's like it's something straight out of Jurassic Park. And I think it was a few days ago they released a new photo of Winston that had more detail on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it did, yeah. But it's still black and white. We don't know exactly how Winston is colored yet.
Right, we don't. I assume it's going to be pretty similar to Stan, but it might be a little bit different too.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, there's Breeze, and then I think we touched on them, but there was also the baby Stegosaurus that they did not too long ago, as well as a baby Triceratops that they had as well.
Yeah, Melon and Hazelnut, they're called, and they're part of the Scout series.
The Scout series. I'm definitely open to them. I'd like to see what the adults are going to look like, the King Trident and the adult Stegosaurus, and then I'll make a decision based off that. But yeah, I mean, they're not too expensive. If you just wanted a collection of baby dinosaurs, it seems like Rebor's doing a pretty good job of having quite a few of them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely pretty keen to get baby Triceratops and place it next to the fallen queen.
Yeah.
bit of a sad little diorama.
Yeah,
there.
very sad diorama. It'd be something kind of like from The Land Before Time.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you get the emotions flowing.
But yeah, I mean, outside of all these hatchlings, Rebor also did earlier this year the blind boxes. They did the Raptor hatchlings mystery boxes, which were also 1/6 scale.
Yeah, I was so close to getting them, but I was preoccupied doing something else at the time, and I never actually ended up getting them. I can still get them now though, but they were really cool. I really liked what they did there.
Yeah, and they offered them one of two ways. You could either get individual blind boxes. Here in the U.S., I think they were, I want to say $6.99 or $7.99, or you could get the whole complete box of 9, which had one of each. And there were 9 different designs, and that was $64.99. So, you save a few dollars by getting the box set. And that's what I ended up doing. And I like them quite a bit. I mean, I think that they're pretty fun. Now, having them after, it's been maybe like 3 months now, I'm not so sure that I need all this many baby raptor hatchlings. So I may decide to part with a few of them. I'm not certain yet, but it is pretty cool that they did that, because I've always been a fan of the blind box thing. I also collect, or at least I used to collect, Vinylmation, which, are the Disney vinyl figures, 3-inch scale. And a lot of those come in blind boxes, from different series. And it can be pretty expensive, if you start blind boxing and, you keep trying and trying and trying to get that one design you really want. It can really add up. It's basically gambling. It really is.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of liked that concept. So it was very interesting to see Rebor take, a step in that direction and try their hand at something like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the big box of them, but I'm going to get one, because that means I only end up with one. And not like a whole bunch of heaps of raptors and eggs and stuff. And then maybe I can put that in my theropod nest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I thought about getting 1 or 2 of them, but I really wanted to make sure I got all the Jurassic World designs. And if I just got 1 or 2, there was a good chance I wasn't going to get the ones I wanted most. So yeah, at least if you get the box set, I guess you can sell off the designs you don't like quite as much.
Yeah, definitely. I've got one. If I do get one, I wouldn't mind getting blue, and I'd love to get the one based on the first movie. Mm-hmm. I don't really care. I don't really mind what I get. Actually, that's the cool thing about it. I'll just leave it up to chance.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And I really do like how they did the different colors. Though it's really cool how they did the Jurassic World, the Raptor Squad, and they did, like you said, from the first Jurassic Park film. They did some from Jurassic Park 3. They even did the Papo design, the second version that Papo did anyway. And then they also did the blue one, which is the same color as the lock, stock, and barrel. So, they covered quite a bit of ground with those.
Yeah, they did. I really enjoyed looking at all the different colors they came out with. So I'm excited to see what one I get.
Yeah, totally. And at least here through Big Bad Toy Store I'm looking at now, they're sold out. Another site that I sometimes buy from, I bought Lock, Stock, and Barrel from Dan's Dinosaurs, which is a really awesome company. Very good, customer service. I've always dealt with Dan directly when buying through them. I'd like to see if they have them in stock there. That'd be interesting to see, because if they're completely sold out on Big Bad Toy Store, with no indication they're going to get more in, I mean, it kind of sounds like maybe they sold through pretty well.
Yeah, I think they did because they're pretty cheap.
Exactly. And I think that, like you were saying with Stan being, one of the cheapest things you can get at, such a low price point, that is something that a lot of people are drawn to. You might not be able to spend, $70 to get the King T-Rex, but, it's pretty easy to spend $8 or $10 to get a baby dinosaur or a hatchling.
Yeah, definitely.
So a couple other things that Rebor have teased. Recently, they showed a photo of it's either a Tylosaurus or a Mosasaurus skeleton that's like in a little glass case with the LED lights.
Yes, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think they're calling that the Oddities line.
Yeah. That's like a decorative little, just like a decorative, almost like a picture frame.
It's very interesting, and then it has like the LED lights that go across the top of it. I mean, that would be a really cool museum-like display piece for sure.
Yeah, obviously I'm definitely not going to get it, but it's pretty cool. Like I'm not saying it's just different tastes. Some person would buy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's almost something I can see myself possibly getting, is just maybe having it like hanging on the wall right behind my other Rebor dinosaurs, I think it'd be a pretty cool looking thing. I mean, if you have the lights on it. I would just want to make sure that, I mean, from what I've heard, it sounds like it's going to have like a power cord, but I'd also like to know if it's going to have batteries. That way, you can just hang it without any wires hanging out from it.
Oh, that would be nice. That would be pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, that's definitely interesting because it's basically just like a fossil. And I don't think the Tylosaurus would be my personal first choice to have as a dinosaur fossil, but at least if it's something that takes off, maybe they'll do other dinosaur skeletons too. That might be a little more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking here. They actually teased looks like a dinosaur in a water tube.
Yeah, it's like a T-Rex, like a baby T-Rex that's like in a little, like suspended in a little like
test tube thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's and that's literally, they haven't said nothing about that. That's only a picture.
Right, and that's part of their oddities line, like the Moses or the Tylosaurus skeleton.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have any indication, I don't think, as to what scale it is, what it's going to be like. But it is definitely very different because, I mean, just seeing it like that indicates that, we as humans brought dinosaurs back and then put them into this little bottle, this tube.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an interesting, different line of thinking.
I can see myself being kind of interested in that test tube one because I find that look is pretty cool. It looks cool.
It's just weird. It really is just different. I mean, yeah, for that reason, I'd probably consider picking it up just because it's, it is unique and it's not really something that you would typically see from a dinosaur company.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But that's one thing you got to give Rebor this is that they've actually done a big variety of different things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They started off with strictly 1/35th scale dinosaurs, but, before long they started expanding into all these other territories. And that's one thing I've seen people complain about quite a bit online is that they've kind of ventured a little bit far off from 1/35th scale. And like we were saying earlier, they haven't done a 1/35th scale dinosaur since Hercules last year. So yeah, they are exploring quite a bit with different things, which is cool, and I give them credit for that. But a lot of people do want to see a return to the more traditional, Rebor 1/35th scale dinos, which I'm sure they'll get back to them at some point.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a question for you though. What if you had one for the next 35 scale one? If you only had one wish, what would it be for the next one?
Stegosaurus.
I was thinking about it during our talk, and I think it would be really cool to see a Carnotaurus.
Carnotaurus would be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing a Carnotaurus at some point. I think they were even talking about an Allosaurus named Ravage at one point.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool, but again, I think they've done a healthy amount of carnivores, so I'd really like to see a living, breathing, undead herbivore, and I think, Stegosaurus being my favorite dino would definitely be the one I'd like to see.
Yeah, actually, I'd love to see a Stegosaurus too.
Yeah, I think that would be very cool, and just thinking about what they could make it like. I'm sure they could put in a pretty action-oriented sort of position, maybe swinging its tail up or, doing all kinds of stuff would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon. And it, with the same colouring as which I most likely obviously will do as melon. It would be, which is cool colouring as well. So I'm pretty sure it would look really nice.
Yeah, it definitely would. When you look at melon, she's a very, or he is a very like a green looking color.
Yeah. Well, because of the melon is definitely coming. We just don't know when.
Exactly, and hopefully sooner rather than later, because I'd really like to see what melon is going to be, or the adult version of melon is going to be like. I think we've covered all the actual product that we know of.
Now it's just the or basically just what they've done. God, yeah, it was really strange. I didn't like it. And it has definitely left a mark.
Rebor themselves as a company, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, is pretty unique. They're doing things their own way. They're making product in an interesting way. They've gone from strictly doing 1/35th scale dinos to doing more, odds and ends, like the 1/6 scales, the hatchlings, the baby dinos, and just weird things like the dinosaur in the tube, which is just something completely out of left field. But also their the way that they interact with their customer and fan base online has been quite different than what you might expect or what you might see from other companies. I mean, they definitely have their own way of presenting themselves on the internet, don't they?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I've found it really weird because firstly, they don't actually have a website. They go entirely through Facebook.
Right.
So I find that kind of strange, but it's not too bad. And so they're strictly just on Facebook. They've got a Facebook page, just Rebor, and basically I think that they can't. They had a bit of trouble later last year, receiving a bit of criticism.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something I first noticed, again, on the Dinosaur Toy Forum, where they used to have an account. They used to post, responses to people's comments on the product and stuff. And a lot of the responses just had a little bit of a negative sort of aspect to them. Like, a lot of the time with companies, what you'll see is, they want to make people happy. They want to keep you coming back and buying stuff. So, they'll generally be pretty positive, and if you're upset about something, they won't, they'll be responsive about it, and they'll say, okay, sorry about that, we'll try and do better next time, which is generally the approach you'll see by a company in any sort of aspect, like whether it's banking or retail or what have you. But Rebor doesn't handle it like that, do they?
No, I was very surprised because I didn't know much because I have not I've heard of the Dinosaur Toy Forum. I'm thinking I have to get on there soon. But I'm not on that forum. But I had heard a little bit of criticism on their products, just in the fact that they're not scientifically accurate and stuff. A lot of people getting a little bit upset about that. But I didn't really think much of it until one day I actually got a message from Dress Collectibles. He goes, have you seen what they've put up on their Facebook page? And I was like, no, I haven't seen it. So I go over to the Facebook page and I've seen a very, very aggressive kind of a post they did with, it was very aggressive.
Is that the one that they did earlier this year? I think it was in February.
Well, it had two of the characters from Pulp Fiction with guns.
Yeah, that was in February. I remember.
It's February one. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that because I was actually out with my husband on San Diego, out in the Bay, and we were sailing, and I remember just like checking my Facebook real quick and seeing that post, and that's why I remember it so well. And that was the day that I saw this post by Rebor on Facebook, and like you're saying, I mean, it was not totally unexpected, because I had seen instances of this prior to that, like not only on the dinosaur toy forum, but on Facebook as well. They had already posted responses to people, who were being maybe a little bit critical, or, asking questions that maybe Rebor didn't want to hear or to answer, which, I mean, if people are ragging on you, you're going to be inclined to want to respond with a little bit of aggressiveness. But at the same time, we do hold companies like this to a different standard. It's not just like your cousin that you see at a barbecue and, he can talk to you however he wants. This is a company that you're giving a lot of money to own their product, and, helping them to build more money and more capital so they can go and invest it in more product that you can in turn buy again. So, we just kind of hold companies like that to a different standard. We want to see them, be a little bit better than that. We want to see them kind of, say, okay, there's criticism here, but, is there a better way to deal with it? So yeah, I mean, this definitely left this whole debacle with them on Facebook in this one instance. Definitely did leave a sour taste in my mouth.
Oh, it did to me too, but the thing is, I don't want to judge them just on that. I judge them more on their products, and I do like their products. But it was a bit unfortunate it happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I even commented on it that day that it happened.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing you there, talking to them a bit.
Yeah, and they responded, and I think they said something like, we like you, Victoria. Please try and stay out of this, and this and that, which is kind of they didn't respond in a hostile way, but it's still kind of an odd thing to say,
Yeah, it was just it was very strange, and they were very, very, I don't know, it was very angry. They were just fighting back very aggressively. I don't know how much criticism they received, or what really sparked it. To be honest, I don't really know. But
from what I understand, I think it was mostly like people being critical about their product selection and the scientific accuracy aspect.
Oh, that's the funny thing. Well, that's the thing though. If a company shouldn't have said anything really, they should. The main thing, they should have done was basically wouldn't have said anything. They could have said it like, yeah, well, this is the way we're going to do it. Then if you don't like the products, then don't buy it.
Really?
Yeah. I suppose you don't want to say that, but you know what I mean.
Really, all you have to say as a company, though, is, we appreciate your feedback. We will certainly take it into consideration going forward. I mean, all you have to do is say that and just leave it at that. But, obviously that wasn't enough. They wanted to be a little bit more forward about what they were really feeling in that particular instance.
Yeah. I don't really... I'm one of the ones that don't get too upset about how scientifically accurate something is. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit silly. It was a bit silly it even happened. Like, I don't know why they were even receiving criticism anyway. I know why, but, like, I don't know. It's just people do care about that, I suppose.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there are people out there that can be jerks, or people that can... be hostile, and like I was saying earlier, that's going to incite some sort of a response. It just depends on I think it really depends on how you react to that sort of behavior that kind of defines you as a company in a way. And I think that that really adversely affected them, whatever their intentions may have been responding that way. I mean, a lot of people it really turned a lot of people off from their product. Like you said, it's just really unfortunate that the whole thing happens at all.
Yeah, definitely. But I think they've learnt from them, and I haven't seen them, because I think that I had seen them bite back before that, but since that happened, I haven't actually seen them getting too upset about with anyone again.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't been as bad ever since then. At the same time, we are talking about scientific accuracy, which, I do appreciate some items that are, but, I'm also equally as happy to purchase other items that aren't as scientifically accurate. But I think a big part of it is that they label their items as museum replica or museum quality. And when you see something like that, you assume in your head, at least for me, I assume there's other ways you can probably interpret it, but I think most people probably see that and they assume in their minds that that's going to be something that's more scientifically accurate and something you might see in a museum, which obviously isn't the case. I mean, a lot of these are drastic interpretations that are more favorable towards something that's more oriented in pop culture.
Definitely, but I think that's just they've just slapped on the museum, because that's what I thought too when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, this is museum quality, but it doesn't mean that. I don't know. It's not. Obviously, it's really nice. Their quality of their products is fantastic, but I suppose if you say that, you're gonna have to back it up.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying though, I haven't seen them respond like that ever since then. I mean, there are some things they quip here and there that are a little bit uncharacteristic maybe of a company, but luckily we haven't seen anything quite as hostile as that one response back in February.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just excited to see what they come out with for the future now.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the whole thing did kind of leave a sour taste in my mouth, but I still love their product. I still don't think there's any doubt that the product that they put out is some of the highest quality and highest detailed in terms of dinosaurs that you're going to see on the market, especially for the price. You're not paying sideshow prices to own any of these pieces. And like I was saying at the start of this program, that just looking at them here on my shelf compared to pretty much anything else that I have, even the Papa dinosaurs, which are incredibly detailed, the Rebor dinos are just the most lifelike. They're the most detailed. The paint applications are the most meticulous. I mean, the product really does speak for itself. I mean, yeah, there are some issues. I know we covered balancing issues and, just things like the leaning issue on the Utahraptor, stuff like that. But from a sheer aesthetic perspective, I don't think that many companies come close to what Rebor is doing, just with the sheer impressiveness of their product.
Yeah, absolutely. They still look fantastic, and I'll still buy them.
Yeah, I'm really eager to see what they're going to do in the future. I mean, we have a pretty good little look here at the short term, but I really would like to see what they're going to do in terms of more herbivores. And I wouldn't even mind seeing them do like another T-Rex, even if it like maybe a more scientifically accurate T-Rex, like with feathers and everything. Maybe something kind of similar to what Collect Day did with their feathered T-Rex, which I think is a fantastic piece. It really would be cool. I mean, yeah, they're doing like kind of half and half. Some that are more scientifically accurate, and some that are more pop culture like in appearance. But it would be cool if to offset that, they took something like the King T-Rex, which is obviously a JP inspired dinosaur, and then also did a companion piece that was the scientifically accurate version. I think that'd be pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be cool too. And like you said, I actually don't even have a feathered T-Rex, so I think I should have a feathered T-Rex. So it'd be really cool if they came up with something like that.
Yeah, it would. No doubt it would be highly detailed, even though it might have feathers, which some people, don't like the idea of dinosaurs having feathers. But, I think if Rebor did something like, like that at the same magnitude that they do any of their other highly detailed pieces, I think it would probably be a hit.
Oh, yeah, I reckon it would definitely be a hit. Everyone loves a good scientifically accurate T-Rex.
All right, so I think we've done a pretty good job covering all aspects of Rebor as a company, their product line, and a product they may be coming out with in the future. It'll be very interesting to see what Rebor does going forward in terms of their product selection, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to seeing what sort of direction they might take in doing that. So with that being said, I do want to thank Cory for coming on here and talking about Rebor with me. I do encourage you to check out Cory's channel on YouTube. I will throw some links down in the description. You can also find him on Twitter at Cory J. Baker and keep up with him and see all the dinosaur videos that he does. All fantastic stuff, and I truly trust that if you're not already familiar with him, and you probably are, that you're truly going to like the work that he does.
Yeah, thanks very much for getting me on Cantina Chatter, Victoria. And if anyone wants to look at my channel, it's I do a whole lot of Jurassic Park videos. I do a bit of basically whatever I find might interest you or might be entertaining, I put it on there. So I have like a lightsaber video on there. So if anyone wants to check out my channel, feel free to do so. And I'm almost up to 1,000 subscribers, so I'm excited.
Awesome. All great content, great stuff. I'm sure that anyone that goes that way is really going to like your stuff. That being said, my friends, I do appreciate you tuning in to this episode of Cantina Chatter. If you enjoyed, then I do encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about our conversation regarding Rebor. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for the latest news and updates. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.